You are listening to the audio production of When Women Walk Alone by Cindi McMenamin, published by Audiobooks. This book was originally published by Harvest House Publishers and is read by Carla Mercer-Meyer. For women everywhere who feel they walk alone. A personal note from Cindi. In the spring of 2001, I lay face down on the floor of my study and prayed, God, I can't write this book. I have no idea how to touch the hearts of hurting women. I need you to help me. I was convinced it was the book God wanted me to write. After all, the title came to me so clearly as I rode a train from Southern to Central California just months earlier and prayed for direction for my second book. Who do I write for next, God? What is the burden on your heart? His answer was one I heard only in the deep recesses of my heart. When women walk alone. Yet several months later, as I faced a deadline to finish the book, I cried out to God for help. And in that moment of brokenness, I realized I didn't have what it took to write for that kind of burden on God's heart. Yes, I've experienced what I feel is loneliness, as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. But I have not walked through the depths of despair that many women have walked. The loss of a husband through death or divorce, the devastating loss of a child, the dark void of depression, the agony of aloneness that comes from an illness or disability or dashed dreams or never having married. I have not faced what some desperate hearts will have experienced as they pick up this book. God, help me, I prayed. You know who will read this, and what it is they will need to read to experience healing and hope. Bring me the women with encouragement to share. Bring me the stories that will change lives. 3 months later, I turned in the manuscript for the book that has now sold more than 100,000 copies. Thousands of women have shared with me through letters, emails, and in person how their lives were transformed through the stories in this book of women who grew through their grief. Stories that testify of the truly incredible ways God can work in people's lives. From single women out on the mission field to widows dealing with the loss of their husbands of 30 years or more. From wives in loveless marriages to women who wonder if they'll ever be married. From those who feel they've fallen too far for God's grace, to those in ministry who feel alone and misunderstood. From career women who feel alone at the top, to stay-at-home moms struggling with a sense of purpose. I've heard from them all. I've heard their stories of hope as they discovered, through the pages of this book, that there is a reason for their aloneness, and there is one who is strengthening them through it. One particularly memorable story is that of a woman named Angelique, whom I met while speaking at a women's retreat. Angelique, a single mother of a then 9-year-old, was in her one-bedroom apartment, ready to take her life, when she heard a knock on her door. When she opened it, there stood 2 women from her church. They handed her this book and said, "We thought of you this evening while we were in a group study on this book. We wanted you to have this, and we'd love for you to join us next week." As they left, Angelique opened the book, and by the time she got to the end of the first chapter, she was on her knees at the edge of her bed, tears flowing down her face. "It never ever occurred to me that there might be a reason for the pain I've had in my life," she told me at the retreat. "When I realized God wanted to draw me closer to Him through my aloneness, it changed my life and made me want to live again." Instead of taking her life that night, Angelique gave it to Jesus. And the next week she showed up at the small group study at her church and shared her story of giving life and Jesus a chance. The women in her study pitched in financially to give Angelique a scholarship to attend the upcoming women's retreat, and that made it possible for her to share with me how the book had changed her life. There may be other Angeliques out there who have yet to discover there is a reason and a purpose behind their pain. And if you're one of them, I invite you to discover one of the most amazing and life-changing truths there is. The God of the universe wants to develop an intimate relationship with you, and if He has to lead you out to a desert of aloneness to do it, that's what
Sample complete. Ready to continue?